just like to start by acknowledging and respecting the Lekwungen peoples whose traditional territory the university stands on, and the Esquimalt, Songhees, and Wisanish people whose traditional relationships continue to this land to this day. What I was going to do, we can skip that video, it's part of Kyle's, is I'm just going to move into some Little Lot learning principles. So Kyle had a presentation, I'm sure you'll go over. Kyle, sorry, I'm right in the way, on the cross, and I just drew some learning principles that tie into the game of lacrosse and what I felt really connected those principles from lacrosse. So I did 4 here, and then we'll move into a little activity afterwards. So the first one is Kamukwatal, and that is acknowledging the felt energy in a group, and that emergence of the group moving towards a common goal. And with that energy, people feel comfortable to express how they feel and their views. The MUC part, the MUC, that stands for energy or life force, and that's where that energy comes from in the Kamukwata. So my perfect example, not perfect example, but what I connected to lacrosse would be that either that nervous energy before a game or even in a game, the intensity of it. People, it's coming from working towards a common goal, which is either scoring the cross ball or winning. And then from that energy, we're making adjustments. People are feeling, hey, something didn't work. We feel safe enough to express what's working, what's not working, and moving forward. Another one, we've talked about this in class before, but I thought tied in quite well, was Huilet, which is just the recognizing that sometimes there needs to be a chaos and just hecticness, and through that chaos and hecticness, learning will occur. So once again, in lacrosse, just that hectic environment, it's physical, there's a lot of almost violence going on, and then from that, in lacrosse, we can see communication happens, we can see bonds be building, and we'll learn from our mistakes being made in that hectic environment, and eventually communication is flowing perfectly, right? And then lastly, I think Kelche was one that really highlighted to myself as well, and that's just each person being responsible for their own learning, and not only their own learning, but there was, not only their own learning, but the ones around them. So once again, from that felt energy in the group, right back to Kamukuta, would be you feel it safe to express and acknowledge your own learning, and then you can help your peers around you, so you make sure as a team, you're all collectively working towards that goal. You know what needs to be changed, what needs to be improved upon, and everyone's responsible for each other. It's a true teammate relationship. So for a quick activity now, I would like to practice another Little Lot learning principle, and this one's Katila, and Katila just means stillness. So what I'll get everyone to do is we will, if you feel comfortable doing so, we'll close your eyes, and I want you to just focus on emptying your brain, focus on breathing your breath, connecting the ins and outs, don't have a pause between. I will just do this for a couple seconds. Obviously we'd like to do this longer, but we'll hurry this along. Feel the blood running from your body down to your limbs, all the way out to your toes. Just focus on having that mind be completely still. Release all that's coming in the day. Forget about what has to go. Just be right here in this moment. Focus on that breath. Focus on how your fingers and toes are feeling. And then slowly start to bring some consciousness back to your body. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your feet. Feel that blood circulating right from your feet all the way up into your legs, to your torso, back through your arms, and eventually your head. And as we come awake, I'd like us to think about in our own experiences, or through sport or learning, education, what are some learning principles, and I'll pull them up on the screen, that you can draw upon that reflected your own life. I wish I had a bigger screen, but we might have to skip this part because we can't see. I think we can pull up one.
Keep talking, I'll get it.
So does anyone have any examples of what they can think of in their own life where a Little Lot learning principle may have come true? Simon?
What was the last one?
Good.
Amhaka?
Oh, yeah, the still in the sun.
Oh, Katila.
Katila, yeah. Sometimes when I go hiking, you feel like you're in the present moment with stillness and nature and stuff like that, and that's really nice. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I've been on some hiking trips where you get lost in nature, and that's sometimes all you can think about. And that's definitely, I think, the easiest way to practice that would be through out in nature. You just forget about where you came from, what's going on in the day. You're just focused on getting out of that trail or getting to the next location or whatever it may be. You're just in that moment. Does anyone have anyone else or anything else? Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone.
Send me the PowerPoint so that I can put